One second. Oh my goodness, guys. Josh. Wait, no, Stevie. You were on first. You were talking. I told you to be quiet till I hit live first. So I'm I'm gonna give you first go at this, man.
Yeah. Um, so I felt I had a different feeling through the first 3.5 quarters of this game where there was something different about the way that the team was playing, and I think that the energy that guys like Gafford, Archie, and Wendell still had a pretty good game. It was just a different kind of game, and the lift that you get out of playing that well against a team that was only a couple of games away from probably making the finals, they just look completely different. But Levine and Markkanen, terrible games. I'm just about to tweet out these stats. They had 5 turnovers together. Levine was -20, Markkanen was -17. 6 of 28 is damning between the two of them, and the shot selection down the stretch was terrible, and they only had 20 points between them. I mean, they were both just terrible. I think probably Markkanen was a bit worse. That was one of the worst Lowry games I'd ever seen, but I haven't watched as much Bulls in previous years as you guys, but it was his worst game of the
What
year.
is he doing on that like absurd dunk attempt on two bucks just because
Yes.
he's trying to be aggressive? Like
Yeah.
what is he thinking there? He wasn't even he wouldn't have even dunked that from how he jumped and how far he was if he was uncontested. That's how ridiculous of a
Yeah.
dunk attempt was, and there was two people between him and the rim, and he's trying to dunk over Brook Lopez when you just lost some momentum. You're down what like 6 or 7, and that was after you took the lead after really good hustle. I just feel bad for like Archie and Gafford and like Wendell and the people who are trying to make good decisions because Zach Levine and Lowry Markkinen clearly are not. Zach Levine, what is he doing? Taking random
Yeah.
pull up threes. He's like not making any passes whatsoever. He's fully looking for the like contested double clutch layup bucket towards the end of the game, thinking he's gonna take it over. Like you're not the reason they got the lead, Zach Levine. You're not.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
not the like let first of all, why is Lowry and Levine even coming back in? Why isn't Gafford coming back in? The guy who actually has been playing really well. Like it's Gafford playing well is the most aggravating thing that I've ever seen because how this is exactly how he played in the preseason. He's not done anything different than what he did today for the minutes that he's seen in a Bulls uniform. So it's not a surprise to me that he did this. It's really not. 21 points, 10 of 12 from the floor. Nothing seemed forced. Nothing. He was just getting rebounds. He was getting alley oops. He was catching it with his hands that he's shown to have over and over again. 3 rebounds. No, sorry, 5 rebounds, an assist, 2 blocks for Gafford. Let me calm down here and go over to Josh real quick.
Go, Josh.
Um, that game was, I mean, the bench is better than our starting lineup. I mean, it's fair to say our bench has given it night in, night out. I think the three-guy line of Chris Dunn, Archie Diacono, and Kobe White is just exceptional. I mean, they play defense and they make big shots. Like the Bulls had all the momentum in the world. They had Giannis on 5 fouls. They took a 1 point lead, and then Giannis got taken out, and Markin and Levine checked back in. And then, like, what happened? The game just disappeared from the Bulls. Any hope of them winning it? I think they just forced shots, and I think they're trying to be the leaders of this team when like they're not living up to expectations, and you can see them just forcing it, like 2 for 12 and 4 for 16 from both of them. It's just really disappointing, especially when they both have goals of making All-Star teams and all that. But it's just nothing is going to stop them from playing better basketball. They look awful.
So let's. It's crazy. They're constantly at least pushing the length of time within a game to like that they're playing well. This is the second time in 5 games that they've played again in 5 days, sorry, that they've played against the Bucks, a team that is a contender for like all we project and all that. And they played them extremely well the first 3 quarters of both of those games. This game, at least it lasted the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter as well. So at least they're pushing out the time where they're just gonna stink it up hopefully at one point they stop syncing it up. And something that I was thinking about, Stevie, the 2 games that
Yeah.
we broadcasted, we won. I think we need to get back on hot mic.
I like it, man. I like it.
Because they're
Yeah.
clearly, like you said, let's talk a little bit about like the positives, because there were positives. I mean, we're fresh off the loss here and the bad ending. But Stevie, you were also saying like they were playing like a completely different team. They were extremely exciting. Like what
Yeah.
gave them that energy? Because at this point, like it's so obvious. If I asked Jim Boylan or John Paxson, like to Jim Boylan, are you doing a good job? Like, do you think you're doing a good job? Like, is he just gonna lie to my face and say yes? Like, no, he knows he's doing a bad job. How can you not play Gafford at all for the first 9 and then have him come here and go 21 points on freaking like 80% shooting? Oh my god, I got back onto Gafford and got heated. I think we have Marcus Couch on.
Hey guys.
What's
Hey.
up, Marcus? How's it going, man?
Hey man. Well, as good as can be after a loss like that. Now, first off, fellas, let's not get so heated because we didn't stand a chance in this game. Come on.
We did stand a
Let's-
chance. That's why we're
Let's
heated.
frame our expectations.
You know,
really?
Oh my god.
Giannis was just sitting on the sidelines, just waiting and chomping at the bit to come in and close this one out. Now, granted, I give you that Gafford probably should have gotten into a game sooner than this, but let's not think that he's the second coming here. Granted, he had a good game because nobody scouted him out.
It's about the principles, Marcus. I'm not mad, or
Okay.
I don't think that Gafford is just gonna come in and be an All NBA type player and just gonna finish everything
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the rim, catch everything, play good defense, get all the blocks. Like that's what he did today. He can do it clearly from game to game. He's not gonna do that consistently this first season, but the principle of not even giving him any minutes when the struggles are the rebounding, the struggles are like exactly what he provided today. I think just not trying is what gets me heated. Not that he's just the second coming. It's that how hasn't he got, like, what is your reasoning for how he has not gotten any minutes?
Terrible coaching.
Okay, thank you. All right. We're on the same
I
page
mean,
then. We're all on the same
We're
page.
stuck with a substitute teacher here who, quite frankly, is anybody who watches that Run With Us, the little Bulls soap opera that goes around.
I
all the
like
time,
that. Hey,
those
let's
little
not
episodes.
let's not talk shit about Run With
Well,
Us. Now.
okay, but no. I want to say something here. No, now the episode with Jim Boylan eating breakfast was very telling. It was very telling about what kind of guy Jim Boylan is, and still frame some of that video and look at Jim Boylan's place. That's not the baller NBA coach crib that I'm looking for. I don't know about you guys. That tells me a lot about the person.
That Run With Us actually did make him, I did, side with him a little bit. I was excited. I wanted him. I still want him to succeed. It's just that there hasn't been an adjustment that's been made on time. Every adjustment that has been made this season has always come after multiple executions of that failure, right? Like it's
Yeah,
you
about
fool,
four
fool
or
me
five
once.
times today, on 4 or 5 different occasions today, the Bucks did something where I was in my head going, "Call timeout,
Yeah,
call timeout
yeah.
right here, stop the bleeding, call timeout, get some new guys in, call timeout." Nothing, didn't happen. So look, Jim Boylan's got a resume. He's not a college coach. This isn't Hoiberg here, right? So he's played with some good teams, and he's played with a lot of good guys. It's just, is it the assistant coaches around him? I don't know. I don't know why he's making such poor decisions.
Man, Marcus, your voice is so soothing. Like it's just calming me down right now.
Okay.
But Josh, like anything, like I feel like I'm just going back to Gafford and getting heated and then calming down after hearing Marcus talk. Let's change
Gafford, he's not the solution. Gafford is a guy that's going to be a
the
good.
solution is making adjustments on time. That's what Gafford is representing to me, not Gafford himself. It's let's find the solutions and try to solve the problems in a timely manner. And that just hasn't. That just hasn't. been happening.
Gafford is third year Taj Gibson at his ceiling.
Josh, Stevie, take us
I'll
somewhere
jump
else. Yeah,
I'll
jump
jump
in.
the decisions that the best players are making, even Sadaransky falls into this. He's a bit more experienced. Now he's been brought in to start. I mean, he's probably not getting paid started point guard money, but he's starting as the point guard. The decisions that he's like, whether it's lack of aggression from Sadaransky, but the decisions of Markkanen and Levine, especially on offense, and then even like Larry's bad fouls, decision making has been terrible, and effectively they were benched when they left the second unit out there longer. They were being benched, the starters. But what they might have been better to do was just Boylan could have just left the second unit out there.
But that also leads us to sorry to cut you off, but like I just want to mention,
yeah.
like he has kind of done that to an extent sometimes with Kobe or even Wendell, and then there's these like 15-minute stretches where these players are playing consecutively, which also isn't really the move.
There's the problem with this. The problem with that is then you leave your starters 5 minutes to come back and try and win the game.
Yes.
While they've been sitting on the bench for 15 minutes cold.
Yes. So the way that he's playing, guys, it seems that they've changed their rotation a little bit recently. But it's almost like there's no tactic or no rhyme or reason to why certain guys are being played. So I think we're probably I'm just looking for solutions.
It's not the way that you would think that they would get played, which is when a coach puts a guy in, you counter with another guy. That's generally how matchups work.
Yes.
And 100%. It doesn't seem to be the way that this coach is going.
Yeah. Let me get some stats out for you guys. We got Levine, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists on 4 of 16 shooting, so 25% from the floor for him, 2 of 7 from the three-point line. Lauri Markkanen, 9 points, 2 of 12. 0 of 4 again from the three-point line, type of three-point line stat line that we're used to at this point. 8 rebounds, minus 17 for him, minus 20 for Zach LaVine, leading the team in those regards in terms of negative performance. Sadaransky, 5 points, again, scored the first 5 points, and then Stacey King promptly said, let's not see him, quiet down and lose his aggressiveness after scoring the first 5 points like he did either last game or the game before, I forgot. But that's exactly what he did, 2 of 6 from the floor, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, a rebound and an assist to boot. Let me just close out the starters. Carter pitched in 6 points, 3 of 6 from the floor, 8 rebounds. 3 of those offensive. He was more quiet than we're used to, but he didn't stick out in like an awful way. He just kind of was there. Even Wendell's bad games aren't like disruptive to the team, I feel like. And Gafford was doing a lot of the stuff that we've come to expect from Wendell, so he took like a tiny step back, I guess, and then Hutchison, 7 points, 2 of 8 from the floor, 1 of 3 from three-point line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal for him. Then that's closed out the starters. Hutch, Carter, Sadaransky, anyone we didn't talk about? Any thoughts on those guys? Josh, I feel like we haven't heard you in a while.
I don't really have much to say, man. It was just a dismal performance. There's not really much to say that hasn't already been said, but the truth of the matter is, I think we've probably come to the conclusion that we cannot win with the starting lineup. I mean, we know Levine can score, right? He's a good scorer, but the consistency is never there, and he's never proven to be. He's proven to be a good scorer, but he's just going to be another. I believe his ceiling is just a sixth man on a championship team. Like, he's not going to be the real deal that's going to take this team to the forbidden land or whatever Jim Boylan wants to call it. And Markin, on the other hand, I feel like. So I've heard a lot of people talk about this on Twitter, and I want to get all your guys' opinions on this. So people are starting to say that Levine has been responsible for last season the regression of Chris Dunn, and this season the regression of Lauri Markkanen. What do you guys think on that?
Why? What have you read? What's the reasoning for that?
Well, we all saw Chris Dunn in the 2017-18 season, how good he can be. and he took a
How
step
good he
back.
can be. I like that phrase.
Well, he was amazing, Chris Dunn, the second year. Let's keep it real. Chris Dunn was really good. And the season after Zach Levine's ACL tear, he was back healthy. Chris Dunn took a smaller role on the team and got less shots. He got less ball, and we saw him regress on the offensive end. He turned into a really, I don't even know what you want to call it. He wasn't getting a lot of ball. He wasn't getting a lot of shots up, and I think it kind of regressed his role on the offensive end. And it's fair to say similar stuff's happening to Marketing because the ball's just been in Levine's hand all the time. And having the ball in Levine's hand is fine if he's going to win you games, similar to what James Harden does. But the difference is that James Harden can win you games, Zach Levine cannot.
I don't know, man. First off, you're forgetting that we had Fred Hoiberg at the start of last season. We had Jabari Parker at the start of last season, Bobby Portis, all those guys. We had all the drama, all the contract year stuff going on.
Dunn also got hurt early.
Yeah, the firing of the coach halfway through the year. You got to scratch last year off completely. I'm not going to look at the progress of anybody on last year's team. We didn't have Wendell Carter Jr., but 44 games out of the year. It's just an unfair comparison, I think. I don't think he is the decline of anybody. The only thing that I think Zach LaVine did wrong was that leadership committee thing where they revolted against Boylan in the onset when Boylan was making them do wind sprints and push-ups and things like that in practice. So I can't say that one player is responsible for another player's degression in skill level. I can't buy that argument.
Yeah, and what do we expect from a team who has to punch in a clock in 2019, 2020? Like
I don't think that's got anything to do with the fact that
I
can't score.
I think it has a lot to do with how they're not execute. Yeah, how they're. I think it has everything to do with it. I think it's the number one reason. Like Zach LaVine can be used. Zach LaVine can be coached. I think he's dying to be coached. And I think you can put him in a system where he can be effective. And maybe six-man, he might have too big of an ego. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But in that type of role, in those type of minutes, and then put people around him that make sense. Like, play with Lowry a little bit more. I don't know. Like, try to run some pick and rolls. Try to have Zach LaVine create off the dribble and make that a point of emphasis for him. And he'll see how much better he's playing, too. I think there's ways to coach players to get the most out of them. And I don't think Boylan is doing that. I don't think necessarily Hoiberg was doing that. Jimmy Butler was a personality that he couldn't control. But coaching is about getting those personalities to mesh, getting many different personalities to mesh. That is the responsibility of a coach, I would say, over a lot of different things. You can have assistants, you can have offensive, defensive coordinators, you can have analytics, but the guy that they're going to be listening to is the coach most of the time. So you need to be able to mesh the personalities, the play styles, and the best coaches find a way to make it work.
But see, Boylan said in an interview, NBA coaches are not paid to coach effort. And I think that's bull. Because
I think that's the main thing that they need to coach.
Yeah, no kidding. If you can't coax effort out of a guy, then what good are you as a coach?
What is effort anyway? The definition of effort. Like, what the definition of effort is actually caring about the outcome, because you care about what happens afterward, because you believe that there's something to play for, that you believe the right things are being done and the problems are trying to be solved. That's what makes people show effort. That's what motivates people. If there's no effort, there's clearly a lack of belief and care going into what's going on. Head down. Like, what are you saying?
Decision making. Like, that's what I'd say has been lacking offensively. I could even throw in a name, talking about coaching, Andrew Wiggins. I know we've talked about him on the pod before, but different coach, honestly, it's made quite a big difference, because decision making on offense especially has been where I've seen Lowry fall over, and I just put that on the coach. A lot of it.
Head down is never something you should be seeing, and Lowry has just been extremely, like, I think the players definitely need to take accountability. Everyone is somewhat at fault. I'm not going to absolve anyone of blame for the meltdowns that we've been seeing, and they have. Like,
I will. I'll absolve a couple people. Ryan Archie-Diacono.
Yeah, for sure. But absolve them of blame, because they don't even have any. Like, they don't have any blame. They have been doing everything basically, I don't even Chris Dunn to an extent. Like he hasn't really been having any too many missteps. I feel like has he?
Leading the league in steals right now.
Yeah.
I'm
So tonight,
yeah.
nine
Go ahead.
assists, 0 turnovers tonight.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's had a great game. And
Yeah.
at least he's played hard and done. He's used his skill set to his advantage, and he's got guys open. He's created a lot of points for others. Where I feel like Levine and Markkinen and a lot of nights have actually made the team worse.
Chris Dunn will be the very first person on this team to get an NBA championship ring with another team. He will be.
Yeah, I mean, he could definitely play like that role. That statement right there has a lot of other things that go into it, but it'd be interesting if in like
He
3
won't be
years that
around
actually
next year.
happened.
There's no way. There's no way he's going to be around next year. I don't care. He's just not. He's not going to. He's not going to want to stay.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna want to say they're like, will the Bulls match? Like that's a different conversation, I guess, for a different day. But
Yeah. He's a
Man.
piece that this team needs. Like that's the kind of piece that's different when the other guys on the team are zigging, he's zagging. Like he fits in really well if there were other pieces on the team working well because he is playing well. But at the moment, you're asking him to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and it's not that he can't. It's just that he's almost overreaching when we're looking at these other guys who are playing really poorly.
You know where Chris Dunn would fit in amazingly would be Miami.
He would. They do need backup
Yep.
point guard too. I was looking at that. At least I was looking at the
Yep.
Miami roster, and like point guard is something that I feel like they could use, and he would fit right in. Like Nunn, Dunn, and Butler would be a fearsome.
Dragic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragic
Might
too,
look
but
through.
I'm just talking about like some lineups that I'd like to see with that mixture of players. Let me get
Yeah.
some. Sorry, did you have a thing to say, Marcus? My bad. I
No,
was
go
gonna
for
get
it. Go.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna get to some bench stats here. Kobe White, 13 points, 5 of 15 from the floor, 3 of 6 from three, 3 boards, 3 assists, and a steal for Kobe White. He did bring us back a bit, but he also made some dumb decisions. But like he's playing above my expectations if you average the season. So I think like he's a rookie too, so he's gonna make mistakes. I think this type of season from Kobe White, if everyone else was living up to expectations, would be a lot more positive than some of the mistakes he's been making. But yeah, I mean, any thoughts on Kobe White tonight? He did bring us back. He does bring energy. I feel like he also tries really hard. His shot making and assist looking for isn't as there as I would want it to on a consistent basis.
I wonder sometimes if he has eye issues because I see sometimes he has court vision issues with seeing guys that are wide open.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Especially
there's an
if he comes
actual
off the
eye
back. I
issue
agree
there.
with
What were you saying, Stevie?
He'll come off a. Sorry, you go.
No, you go. I was wondering what
I
you're saying.
was going to say he'll come off a pick at the top, and then he'll be coming downhill. And sometimes he'll have two options of a shooter, and then if he seemed to take one more step and bring the defender out, he has an easy dump off pass. But then he almost try and absorb contact off a guy who's probably a 7-footer, and try and go right through them. And he seems to do that on.
Yeah, he's going to get hurt doing that soon.
Yeah. Yeah, he got owned a couple of times tonight, and he's lucky he didn't fall badly. But he's not going to be able to finish through Brook Lopez like that. You just can't. Yeah, I don't know. He's not playing badly. I agree though. He does miss. He does miss like easy looks to pass off to people that are open.
He gets antsy with his perceived ability to finish through / around extremely large people. He does have some nice touch, but like. I think he needs to see that before it happens. Chris Dunn, 8 points, 4 of 8 from the floor, 0 of 2 from the 3-point line. 6 rebounds, 9 assists, like we mentioned. 0 turnovers, 2 blocks and a steal for Chris Dunn. All-around game for him. Thaddeus Young, 9 points, 3 of 7 from the floor. 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks for him. Block party going on the bench unit. Gafford, Dunn, and Young with 2 blocks each. Archie Diacono, 12 points, 4 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 5 from 3-point line. He was on fire. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and at least like 3 separate dives to the floor to go after the ball and hustling around Giannis. Like Ryan Arcidiacono has been the one guy who's just like, man, I respect the shit out of him. Like last year, this year, he just plays hard every single game, and I love that. Um, but
I
yeah,
wish
let's
Zach
yeah, go
Levine had
ahead.
that grit.
Man, yeah, I do easily. Any last thoughts, guys? I mean, we've been going on for almost half an hour here. And I think we've said everything we need to say, really. But Marcus, I do want to ask you because this is your first time on Bullish, and I ask everyone who comes on our podcast, what is your, Bulls origin story? Like since when have you been watching? When have you been a fan? When did you get into, Bulls Twitter and just like your Bulls story? Marcus, did we lose you? I think we lost you. Oh no.
You must have seen game highlights.
He
No,
must
I'm
have-
It got too wild.
Well, yeah, we lost Marcus here. Let's see if we can get it back on. But Josh, you muted yourself. Are you still there?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah, what are you feeling right now? Just like give us some thoughts.
Well, I'm not gonna keep spreading the positivity that I shared at the spread at the start of the season. That's for sure.
Oh, we lost
This
you,
team.
Josh. We finally lost you.
Oh yeah. Well, Denzel Valentine's still isn't playing. I think that's the biggest concern. I mean, if Gafford's
Denzel
playing, and Denzel,
Valentine. We're still
well,
there.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. I mean, Chandler Hutchinson's getting all these minutes when you're trying to play a fast style of play where you shoot a lot of threes and have multi ball handlers. And Denzel Valentine fits that criteria perfectly. I just don't get how there's no room for him. Like Jim Boylan obviously has something against him. Like at this point, it's not even fair that he hasn't even gotten an
Oh,
opportunity
did
yet.
we even
And,
talk about those comments?
I saw the comments and I just
Because I
infuriates
said
me.
so. Like,
Oh man.
anyway, Marcus, let's move
Yes,
on
sir.
to a more happy tone. I did ask you, I think, before you cut off. I don't know if you heard
Yeah.
me asking you, but your Bulls origin story, like, since when have
Yeah.
you been a fan and
Okay,
all that?
so
Yeah,
we'll kind of go backwards.
yeah.
Right now I'm the co-host for the Bulls podcast at bullspodcast.com. Um, my origin
Amazing
starts
get, by the way. That name, just
in
Bulls podcast, so simple.
yeah. I waited actually 7 years before I launched it, so that
For
should
sure.
tell you.
Yeah.
Um, so it goes back to I think it's 1984. I read Sports Illustrated about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls draft, and I had gone to Bulls games before that. Even uh, met some guys on the Bulls. Orlando Woolridge, Artis Gilmore actually met a couple times. Um, and I had a neighbor who was Walter Payton's assistant, so I got to see a lot of athletes in the neighborhood, a lot. And I started going to a lot of games, and I guess the rest is history. I went all through the Jordan years, all through the downturn afterwards, the Elton Brand years, and all that, to Derrick Rose, and now current day.
There you go. Well, go check out the Bulls podcast, everyone. Marcus, thanks for randomly hopping on through the YouTube live stream, which you can all do. Just put in your Skype. We can get, I don't even know how many people we can get on here, the late latency and stuff, but we can get a whole crew on this call, talk about the Bulls, vent on these tough days, and hopefully celebrate when the time comes for that. At Bullish Hoops, Twitter.
Christmas is coming.
At Bullish Hoops, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Check us out. Hit us up. We like talking to everyone who follows the Bulls. So, peace out. Cool.
Nice.